Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, or I should say it's back to school time. I guess it's mid-September. Either schools have started for many of you, well, parents at least. I'm sure many of you are parents and your children are back in school. I can imagine it's actually quite exciting having a little bit of freedom once again and not having children running around all the time during the summer period. But that's the name of the puzzle today, and you can see a young sleuth already wearing the detective hat, sitting in the middle of the class, and somehow receiving the adoration, as you can see in those eyes, of all of the fellow students in that particular class. Fantastic. So let's take a look at today's puzzle. So, back to school, Pen-cil, or pencil, by 99% Sneaky. And 99% Sneaky, I'm fairly sure we featured other puzzles from him on this channel, and my memory is they've all been absolutely incredible. Incredible to solve, although looking at this one, also incredible to look at and behold. You can definitely see the outline of a pencil here in yellow, and kind of like the nib of the pencil, or the lead really, at the end, maybe an eraser of some sort. I don't know what the blues and X's and Y's are meant to be, but presumably that's just writing from the pencil. Well, let's take a look at the rule sets that will explain all of this to us. Although it's heartwarming to see 3 digits in the grid, we're not used to that anymore, are we? It's almost always empty. So, rule sets are: normal Sudoku rules apply, so the digits 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Pretty standard. Digits in a cell with a small white circle must be less than all of their orthogonal neighbors. So I see 3 small white circles, these ones, and the way I'm interpreting this rule is this cell here, let's say it's a 5, has to be less than its orthogonal neighbors, which would be these 3 cells that are connected to it. It's quite interesting that they're all also in column 1, so they only have 3 orthogonal neighbors, each of them, not more. Okay? Digits separated by an X up to 10, fairly standard rules if you're familiar with XV puzzles, which we featured on this channel many times. But essentially, if that's a 1, that has to be a 9 to add up to 10. If that was an 8, that would have to be a 2 to add up to 10. We also have digits separated by a Y, sum to 11. X, Y, 10, 11, makes sense. And we don't have too many of these. We've got 1 Y here, 1 Y there. This time round, if that's a 5, that would be 6 to get us to 11. And the interesting thing is a Y can actually have a 5 on it, unlike an X. And no prizes for determining why that is the case. Digits along the pink lines are a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So these would be normally what we'd call Rembrandt lines. And all that means is, if this is a 4, for example, these 2 have to be, essentially, well, these 3 cells have to be connected somehow, consecutively. Now, this could mean there is a 5, but, we already said the white circle has to be less. That's a 3 probably, and that's 5 or 2. Well, it's got to be 5 because that was the smallest one. So that would be sort of a valid implementation of this Rembrandt line. And we have a 4-cell Rembrandt line here. Excellent. Consecutive digits, am I reading from the right spot? Yep, consecutive digits along the blue lines must have a difference of at least 5. We have quite a few of them, actually. So we've got quite a long line here, got this cross there, and another long one there. Now, normally these types of lines would be green, and they're called German whispers, so the blue is very clearly related to how the puzzle is meant to look. But the way to interpret this, for example, if this is an 8, these 2 cells must be 5 or more away. So they could be 1, 2, 3, but no other digits would do. And you see you end up with this pattern where you end up with a low digit, high digit, low digit, and repeats on and on. Another one where 5s are not allowed, and if you think about it for a second, what would you put that's 5 away or more? 0? 10? Clearly neither are allowed. Right, moving on from these German whispers lines. So we have digits along an arrow sum to the digit in the attached circle, which is, well, an incredibly long arrow here, almost certainly where we want to start. So all of these cells, how many is that? 3, 4, 5, sum to a value that we need to be able to place in here. A single digit is the sum of all of these 5 cells. And we've got another arrow here with 2 cells and another circle, which is the sum of these 2 digits. Superb. And then lastly, because I'm not seeing this yellow line before, we need to have a look at what this is. So consecutive digits along the yellow line must alternate between odd and even parity. So if this is a 2, for example, as in it's even, then this must be odd, 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. And then we're back to it must be even. It's not a 2 because we've already placed that, but 4, 6, or 8. And it repeats all the way around, I guess, in a fairly consistent fashion. Well, there's no shortage of rules today. And surprisingly, actual digits to help us get started. Now, if you're feeling nostalgic and you want to go back to school, link will be in the description down below. And with that said, let me restart the clock and see how I get on. So, yeah, I did say the arrow is quite suspicious. So the minimum I can make this will be a 1 here, a 1, 2 there, and another 1 in here. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the minimum this is 7, 8, or 9. And I only have 2 degrees of freedom, as in the difference between the 7, the minimum digit, and the 9, the maximum digit. So I can have up to 3 in here, I could have up to 4 in here, and I can have up to 2, because the 3 is already taken. This is excellent. That tells us the polarity on this German whispers line. So remember, low digit, low digit, etc. We know that this is low, and therefore all of these are low digits. I'm going to use blue for low, as in think thermometer temperature, blue for cold and low, red for high. That's also high. Only reason I'm looking at that is I'm just thinking about this cross now. The cross is quite interesting because actually I'm going to do a little bit more just now. You see, because I'm actually going to use a different color, and I think we can already determine what this is. So I don't know if this is low or high. The only thing that you know is that there is a very permissive digit in the middle, which is either the 1 or the 9. Essentially, you want an extreme digit to be able to fit around it all of these other cells. I'm not sure it has to be 1 or 9. I might be able to get away with 2 or 8, given there are only 3 in the same box. But regardless of what this is, it's surrounded by 4 of the other polarity. And I mean, for the moment, unbelievable as that sounds, that can actually still be blue, despite the fact that we have a low digit in here, low, low, and despite the fact that we have 2 highs in the column, these 2 could also be high. So for the moment, actually no, these can't be low, and I'll show you why. Let me turn these into blue for a second. So I've already placed all 4 low digits, because there's only 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are low digits in this box. Yet somehow this circle is saying that it's smaller than these 2 cells, meaning that this is also blue, and now I have 5 blues in box 4, which is impossible. So these are not blue, this is red, this is blue. We've got 4 reds now in here. That's blue, that's red. Now also means these are now either blue or 5 for all of the rest. I'm just going to use gray for the 5s, or potential 5s. And I guess over here it's red and grays for the potential 5 because we've already placed 4 blues as you can see in row 9. This has to be smaller than this cell, so that's also blue. That's all 4 done. This is another red-gray setup. What more do we know? Now, I did say this has to be very permissive, but bear in mind, I don't actually have to have a 6 in here. I could have 7, 8, and 9, and another 7, 8, and 9 in here, and this could be this. No, that can't be the 6. Because that cannot be this cannot be the 6 because it would require a double 1 around it, which would break the puzzle, obviously. Meaning there has to be a 6 in one of these 2 cells, and therefore this has to be 1. As not 1. I'm not going to use, I don't like corner pencil marking across boxes. It will confuse me later. But now that we know that this is 1, that's not 1. I think we've lost our 2 degrees of freedom, haven't we? So even if this is 2, 2, 1, and 1, we're already at 9, aren't we? That's 3, 5, 7, 8. Almost. Very nearly. Very nearly. 2 and 2 is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Of course, because there's always going to be 1 or 2. Just the fact that I removed a 1 in here, I actually haven't used up 2 degrees of freedom. It's only 1 degree of freedom was used. So a long way with me trying to reason why I'm only getting to an 8 when I eliminated 2 1s, is because this one is still possibly a 1. Right, so we need to have a 4 somewhere on here. 4 is not here. It's not 2. That's not 1. It's not 4 because you need to place 2 9s around it to be 5 away from it. Meaning these are now 2 and 4, and this is now 6 or 8. 2 or 4 means that this is, well, these 2 blues are now 1 and 3. That's the second degree of freedom gone now. That's 2, that's 2, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 9. If I just double check my maths, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. These are from 6, 7, and 8, although this is not a 6. 2, 1 would make this a 7. Well, in any scenario, that can't be a 4 because this is not a 9. So that's 2, yep, 4, 6. That's not 6 either. That's our 6 now. This is, well, 7, 8, or 9. This is 5 or lower because we've already placed a 6 next to it. Got a few of these building up around here, haven't we? 7 and 8, 6. This is 5 or 9. So the fact that this is a 1 is quite permissive, unfortunately. You know, I essentially can be any of these, any of these. It's not very helpful. Might have to start thinking about the parity line, which I'm not looking forward towards. Well, we may have to. So this looks like 3 or 5. Think about all the remaining digits. We've already placed 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in the column or box. So this is odd. How am I going to color code this? I will. So all of these are orange for odd. All of these are, goodness me, green for even. Where am I going with this? This looks terrible. I will remove some of these colors later. It's just too much. But once I pencil mark all of these squares and I know what they are, and I'm really only going to do this if they are 3 digits or lower, I will remove the colors associated with it. So for example, this is only 4 or 8. I don't mind losing the color for this. And this is 4, 6, or 8. No, it's not. That was odd. Good thing I checked. That was 4, 6, or 8. This is 4. Well, this is another 4, 8 actually, because we've got 6 and 2 both seeing this cell. And this is 4, 6, 8. This is 4, 6, 8. There's going to be a lot of these around. 4, 6, 8 again. Oh, no 6s. 6 is already in the column. And this is 4, 6, 8. So at least we don't need the even shading. Can lose that. But all of these odd cells, yeah, I don't want to pencil mark these. Let's think about what else do we need to actually place in here. So we said there is 3 5s. Clearly there's another 3 5 somewhere in here, as well as a 2 by the looks of things. And the 2 can only be up here, because this cell needs to be an odd number, and it's 3 or 5. We place 1 and 2. So this is 3, 4, or 5. It's not 4 because we've got a 4, 8 pair already looking at it. So it's 3, 5, and this is 7, 8, or 9. Three or 5 in here. Well, I was going to say I haven't placed a 1 yet, but it's not entirely true. I can actually have a 1 down here. But what this tells me is either 1, 2 is placed. It could also be 3. I'm also going to say it could also be 4, can't it? And this is a Rembrandt line. So given how low these are, 1, 3, and 4, I don't think I can get an 8 anywhere near it. I'm not even sure. I could do 6, 5, 4. That would work. Actually, 6 is not available. That's a 4. And therefore, that's not 4. That's an 8. That's a 4. That's an 8. So 4, 5, 3 is the only way this would work as a Rembrandt line. There we go. And that's the 5. And 9 and 5 again. And let me just fix a few colors. Super. So we're nearly there with the left-hand side of this grid. So we need to place 1 and 7 by the looks of things. 2 very different digits. Because, you know, looking at this Rembrandt line, whichever one this is will help us immensely figure out what this Rembrandt looks like. If that's a 1, that's the 2. You can see these 2 are eliminating these options. In fact, I'm actually going to pencil mark. If that's 1, that's 2. I need 3 and 4. Notice this 3 eliminates this as an option. That's the 3, that's the 4. So 1 is actually achievable. 7. Well, I definitely need to place a 6. But it would be one of these. And then it's fairly open-ended. I can go with a 5. I could go with an 8. Yeah, I'm not sure I can take this much further just yet. Only know that at the moment 1 and 7 both look viable options. Have we put enough of these odd digits to get rid of them? Almost. So 5, 7, 9 in here. Yeah, still too many options for these. And this one, 3, 5, 7, 9. But I'll be honest with you, just the colors are definitely throwing me off, so I'm just going to lose them. So we have a 1 on here somewhere. No 2 on this Rembrandt line. 2 sees all of it. Sorry, not Rembrandt. German Whispers. Let me do this actually. it may well be premature. So I don't know what's low and what's high, but I am going to just give them some colors for now. This 3 removes 7 being an option in here. Yeah, it's just not enough. I need something meatier, something more meaningful so I can actually make the next breakthrough. Yeah, here is something. So I was taking a look at the fact that, there is almost a triplet, almost, but not quite. But then I started thinking about, well, where do the even numbers in this box go? Because we still need to place 4 and 6. So this 4 cannot be here. The 4 is there. Now that in itself is not that interesting, but take a look at 4, 2, and 3. We've placed 3 of the 4 low digits. So I don't think the green can be low. Otherwise, we're going to have 5 low digits. So green is actually red, purple is actually blue. This has to be the 1, excuse me. I'm at this box here. And then we need to think around what these are. That can't be 4, that can't be 2, it could be 1 or 3. And this could even be 4. That's 1, 3, or 4. So we have 2 low digits. 6 could be in either of them actually, so that's a bit of a shame. In fact, 6 is not 4 and 6. Remember when I said think about where the even digits go? That's 4 or 6. That has to add up to 11, so that goes with a 5 or a 7. But more importantly, these are from 7, 8, and 9. As is this one actually. Don't know why that was important, but it is. It'll be helpful to know how low can I make some of these digits, because it will tell me a lot about this circle. And for the moment, because I can place a 1 in here, nothing tells me that this is a 3 and a 4 pair, for example. So if I put a 1 in there, it's just too many options in terms of what this cell is. What about these X's and Y's maybe? That's just kind of where I should be looking next. Actually, this X, it's not 1, 9. It's not 2, 8. It's not 4, 6. This is 3, 7. That's still not enough. I need now I'm going to say 2 and 9. That's the 2. That's the 9. These are not 9 anymore. They were never 8. These are not 9. That's not 9 either. 3, 5, 7 triplet, meaning that's not 7 or 9. That's an 8. That's a 9. I have a 4, 6 that I need to place in here with a 1. Now, either the 1 is on this Rembrandt line, in which case it will be here. You see, there's a 1 in here for sure. What I'm arguing is this cannot be the 1. And simple reason, if this is a 1, that's not a 1. These have to be unique digits. And equally, I can't get to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the maximum I can get to. So that's not a 1, that's the 1. This is the other 4, 6. That's loose up here. Seven, 8, 9 tells me that this is a 5. These are not 5s. 3-7 pair tells me these are not 7s. This is the 7 now. These are not the 7s either. That's an 8-9 pair, 8-9 pair here. It's coming along. 6-7 works, 4-1 works. Frustratingly, still an incredibly large number of options. Right, time to look elsewhere. Maybe this X. So we've placed the 3s, the 2s. 1s, not entirely. This could be a 1, this could be a 9, and this could be 4 or 6, neither of which is stopped. Maybe it's time to think about what these are. So that's 5 or 7. 5 would require a 6, 7 would require a 4. 4, 6 in here means these are not 4 6s. It would break the puzzle. There will be nothing left for this cell. That's 1, that's 9. And that's 4, 6, or 8, unfortunately. I was kind of really hoping this will help figure out what some of these things are, but no. 4, 6, 8 triplet, that's not an 8, that's a 7, and we actually know what this digit is. That's a 2. No, that's not a 2, I've already placed it. That's a 3. 7, 3. Not 3. Not enough. We know that there is an 8 in here, and therefore that's not an 8, although we knew that anyway because there was an 8 there. 4, 6 pair. What do we need in here? Another 4, 6 and another 5, 7. Well, this 4, 6 is clearly not down here, it's there. And this is the... Interesting. Yeah, the other 5, 7. 5, 7 pair tells me this is now an 8. It's not a 7. So what am I missing? Why is this? There we go. This arrow now. No 1s. So the smallest I can make this now. Notice 1, 2, 3, all looking at this cell. Smallest digit I can put in here is 4. This one sees this. The smallest digit I can put in here is a 2. This is now a minimum of 6 and actually a maximum of 7. The fact that this cannot, so there's 1 degree of freedom. The fact that this cannot be a 3 tells me this is definitely a 2. This could be 4 or 5, depending on whether I get him to 6 or 7. That's the 2s basically done at this point, surely. Yeah, that's the last 2. Which tells me this is not a 1. So obviously if this was a 1, I needed a 2 somewhere on this Rembrandt line, and there is no space for it anymore. You know, this 2 eliminated this cell, this 2 eliminated these 2 cells. That's not a 1, that's a 7, that's the 1. I guess it could still be technically a 4, because that could be 7, 6, 5, 4. I can get that low. Shockingly. There is an 8 and a 4, 6 in here somewhere. 8, not 7. And that's not 6. Yeah, I can definitely go up from a 7. And I can go down from a 4. Okay, time to look elsewhere apparently. Let me think, what else what do I need to place? So I need to put 4, 5, and 6 in here. Can I eliminate anything? Not really. I was going to say one of these is a 1, but actually we know which one it is. That's not the 1. That's the 1. I'm really surprised about these 11s. They really haven't been helpful. Unless I'm just totally misreading them. This is a 3, just because this 3 is eliminated. This is 5, 6, or 7. Complete this triplet. Three or 4 means this is not a 7. That's 8 or 9. Could this be a 7? Still looks like it. This can still be a 7. Right. Maybe it really is time to think about some of these Ys. I've kind of put them off long enough, I think. Well, 4, 6 actually, just before I do so, means there is a 5, 7 in here and a 9. So it's 9, and then either a 7 here or a 5 there. No, wasn't helpful. Because that could be 7, 8, 5, 6. Yeah, so many options. There's a lot of them that work on this Rembrandt line. It's not helpful at all, really. This 9. Means, most importantly, no 8 on this Rembrandt line. Therefore, no 9. That's not 9. This is a 4, 6 pair. This is the 9. Therefore, this is the 7, the 4, the 6, the 4, the 6, the 5, the 7. I just needed to pay attention and spot that 9 that just really looked at this 8, 9 for a while. I'm sure many of you were shouting at your screens saying, Sleuth, just pay attention. You do this way too often. That's a 6, and therefore a 4 in here, a 3. What do we have left in there? Is it a 4, 6 pair, it seems? Seems like it. Except that's the 6, that's the 4. These are not 4. That's not 6, that's 5, that's 6. That's 8 to finish the box. That's 5 to finish the row. Yeah, we're basically done at this point. This 9, 8 was done probably a while ago. That's a 4, that's a 6. I need 7 and 9, that's the 7, and if I've not made any mistakes, that's the answer to today's puzzle. Fabulous puzzle. I think the mixture of rule set gives it complexity that otherwise wouldn't be there. You know, if this, for example, was either a Rembrandt or a German Whispers line or anything along those lines, and it was consistent, I don't think it would have been as challenging, but that definitely sort of threw me off a little bit, even though I pencil marked it fairly quickly. But, you know, I absolutely loved it. 99% sneaky. It was a sneaky puzzle. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Love to read your comments and see you back for the next one. Bye for now.